Hey everyone, this is Nicole. It's my weekly marketing stream that I do here on social media and on my website, where I talk about things related to marketing and tech and business. But this week, I want to talk to you about something that's a little bit more serious, despite the fact that I am someplace a little bit more casual and dressed a little more casually than I typically am. I want to talk about the algorithm, how we are seeing and consuming information now, and how, unless you go out of your way to make it otherwise, you're increasingly in more and more of an echo chamber. If you feel like you just follow a bunch of people who are like you, and every time you post something, everybody agrees with you, well, it's a kind of comfortable place to be. I'll admit that even a few years ago, when I was in a more, I guess, fragile emotional state, we could say, while I was going through my divorce and stuff, I really felt like I wanted and needed people to agree with me. And now that I guess I'm still doing the work, but as I continue to do the work on myself, I realize that it's really important for me to seek out opinions and news that is not something that I necessarily would see otherwise. And I guess what really crystallized this for me was this past week, I saw something going by on my TikTok where people in India are dying, one person every 5 seconds. And there's videos of these doctors and these people who, these husbands are begging for their wives to have oxygen so they won't die. And I realized that I hadn't really seen that other places. And it made me kind of concerned that I'm in an echo chamber and I'm not seeing the things that I need to be seeing as part of a citizen of the world. So I want to talk about a few ways that you can make sure that you're not just seeing things that the algorithm wants you to see. You're not just seeing the things that you necessarily agree with or make you feel comfortable. Um, because the reality is that as news has become more personalized in our social media feeds, I think Mark Zuckerberg had some quote where like you could care more about the squirrel in your yard than you could about a war in another country, which is accurate and terrifying. So I guess I don't want to continue being a part of that problem. So here are some ways that I think if you also are watching this and thinking, I don't want to do this either, I want to be more understanding, I want to have a more holistic view of things, I want to be a better citizen. I want to be more participatory in this world instead of just consuming stuff that I agree with. Here are some ways that I feel like you can escape the algorithm, at least for even a moment. One way to do this, and I've seen people refer to this on TikTok, but maybe other places too. If you're on a certain social media site a lot, you can set up an alternative account on that site. So maybe like you don't have friends there, or like you don't follow certain people and you just see what's available there. So that's one way to get in front of some potentially new content that you wouldn't come across otherwise. The second thing you can do is you can go to some kind of general news aggregator like Reddit, and you can tap on the popular tab. So instead of going to the like your tab, which is all the stuff that you follow, click on the popular one and you'll see kind of more general things and maybe things that you wouldn't necessarily have sought out, but other things that people are talking about on the internet. Now, there's other news sites besides Reddit, but I like Reddit's the front page of the internet. People can upvote and downvote stuff. And yeah, I think it's kind of interesting what shows up on that main page because it's not necessarily stuff I would have known about otherwise. And it's usually stuff I end up reading about on Facebook, sometimes days or weeks later. So another thing you can do is you can follow unbiased international news sites. I'll link to an article with some in it, but one I'll refer to right now is the Associated Press. The idea with unbiased is that there's no slant to it. They're just reporting the information. It's almost like I don't know, press release or something. Just this is the facts. The other, thing I think is important is the international aspect because it's really easy to be very ethnocentric in your own country and seeing how things are reported within it. And it's another thing to kind of see what somebody else from outside looking in sees. I think that that's really valuable in my opinion. So my goal is to check out those sites and have a balanced view of how I look at my culture, how I look at the country I live in, and the issues within it. Now, the other thing I've been doing recently, and I still have a long way to go, is anti-racism work on myself. I'm a white person. I'm part of the culture that has oppressed other people for hundreds and thousands of years. So I have biases that I need to work out, and I have ways that I need to be a better ally. I don't know if that's the preferred term, but one of the things that I think is really important to do is to follow creators, follow influencers, whatever we want to call them, who are different than me, who are people of color, who are transgender, who are from different cultures than I am. Because if I just follow a bunch of other middle-aged white women here in the United States, not that not that a lot of my friends who fit that criteria aren't fantastic, but I'm not getting alternative information. I'm not seeing things from another point of view. And I really appreciate, in particular, I've been following a lot of these creators on TikTok, and I have learned so much in my couple of months there from following these people and hearing what they have to say and their views on things. And it's making me change my views on things, I think, in a really good way. So yeah, a little bit more of a personal and I think slightly more serious topic than I typically cover. But I think it's something that as responsible internet users, we need to think about. It's something I've been more intentional in thinking about in the last 6 months. And it's really easy if we don't do this, we can see how things will go, which is that we'll just keep hearing from the people who agree with us, and we will just continue to believe what we want to believe. And that's not necessarily a super accurate way to look at the world. And it's certainly, if you want to look at this from an entirely marketing standpoint, it's not a very empathetic view of looking at the world, because the reality is, as business owners, as marketing people, we're supposed to be able to talk to lots of kinds of people. And by understanding what our algorithm is showing us and actively working to see things besides it, I think we're just going to get better and better at being good business and marketing people, in addition also to probably being better people overall. So thanks so much for watching. I would love to hear other ways that you're sort of beating the algorithm. If you've got some, feel free to leave it in a comment below. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video. But yeah, I really wanted to talk about this and see also what you have to say about it, because yeah, maybe you're not somebody I would normally see in my algorithm. I think good marketing is empathy. And a lot of empathy comes from understanding different points of view that are not your own. And a good way to get there is to get out of whatever echo chamber you're in. I'm in one, we're all in one, and to mindfully consume some content on the internet to make us have a more well-rounded view of the world beyond our world that is being created for us by these giant media companies. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see